So here I am on my second morning. Day one was amazing. Where to even begin? Gosh, long haul flights are pretty brutal, gotta say. Sitting in one spot for like 12 hours and then another 12 hours and then about a 6-hour layover in Singapore airport, which is thankfully an amazing airport, absolutely beautiful. There's a swimming pool, bumped into an old friend there, which was great, so that made the layover a lot easier.
Baby butterflies.
So far, I'm just like, what is jet lag? I got a really good sleep on the plane. I got about 8 hours just before arriving in Milan at 6 a.m. And so, yeah, my biological clock seems to have adjusted pretty well. I spent the first half of the day just kind of frantically rushing around trying to get checked into my hostel.
Oh my god, this room is so cute. Look at it.
Figure out how to get a SIM card, getting used to interacting with people whose language I do not speak, which for a person who's socially anxious at the best of times was a little bit of a challenge at first, but I'm getting the hang of it. It's surprising how far you can get with ciao and grazie. But people are really friendly, and Google Translate is your friend, as I have learned. It's such an interesting city. As I had been led to expect, it's a very, it's a very old city with very old bones, very beautiful, a lot of charm, a lot of, just super old buildings, beautiful villas, so much history. Over the top of that, though, a very thick layer of hyper-capitalism, hyper-commercialism, very hyper-modern kind of vibes, which, yeah, not super my jam. Beautiful place to visit. Would hate to live here, but a great place to be for a couple of days. The fashions here are quite interesting. Everyone is very fashionable, but in a very kind of, I want to say normie kind of way, but it's a very Italian kind of normie, of course. A lot of polo shirts, a lot of white tank tops, a lot of blue jeans. Everyone has a tiny dog. That seems to be a prerequisite of being Milanese. Once I'd spent a little time in my hostel, gotten my stuff organised, I went out in the afternoon, went and got some pizza for lunch at a lovely little pizzeria called, the name is gone, it starts with an A. It'll take me a while to get the hang of actually remembering Italian place names because they kind of just go into my brain, and then my brain is like, it's some words. I took a walk which had been recommended by my host from the hostel all the way into the central piazza, which took maybe about an hour to walk because I was, it would probably be 45 minutes if you rushed it, but I was soaking in the sights. Popped into a couple of churches on the way. One of them was built in like the 4th century. Really, and you could tell, man, like the brickwork was just so old, and just stunning interior, of course, absolutely blew my freaking mind. And then, got to the piazza and went to the Duomo di Milano, the big cathedral in the centre of town. I think it's the 2nd biggest cathedral in the world.
Hopefully you can see back here, there's a lot of pigeons.
Or maybe 2nd biggest in Europe, I can't quite recall, but it's...
This is just a ridiculously large building. I don't think Jesus would have approved somehow, but...
gorgeous.
I think it's
so
pretty cool.
Huge and so full of beautiful, beautiful things. I've never seen anything quite like it. Absolutely took my breath away. I've got lots of photos and videos to share, of course.
As far as doors go, it's pretty elaborate.
underneath it there's a large archaeological site which you can go down into with sort of the remains of the one of the earliest versions of the church, I think also built in about the 4th century. There's all these old sort of tombs down there, and there's a big sort of I don't know what you'd call it, like a wishing well, a big circular thing that people throw coins into. You're not supposed to, of course, but it's got heaps of coins in it. But yeah, there's a display there with lots of coins from the old Roman times that were recovered from there. And yeah, climbed up the many steps to the roof. Where there's a beautiful view of the piazza and surrounds, and it's just mind-blowing, that place. Like the amount of I can't even imagine the amount of hours and the incredible craftsmanship that would have gone into that place over so many generations, and the work that it must take to keep it from falling apart. Anyway, onwards. Day 2. Ciao. Here in Milan, evening of my second and final day here. Today went for a wander and saw a few things. I went to the Castello Sforzesco? Sforzesco, sorry. Castello Sforzesco, which is the ducal castle of Francesco Sforza, who built it in the 15th century. He was originally a condottiere, I'm pronouncing that right, a mercenary, who married into the Visconti dynasty, which had no heir, and so he became the duke. Yeah, massive castle. Never seen a castle before, so of course that was amazing. Also got scammed there. My first time getting scammed in Europe, and I think back to it and I'm like, how did I get scammed? It was so obvious. But yeah, anyway, lesson learned. I only lost €10, not the end of the world, but and I saw an ossuary today. It's the something San Bernardino, I want to say. I'm very, very bad at remembering the names of places. This is why I write them down. But yeah, big old chapel full of skulls and bones that were, as is usually the case for ossuaries, dug up from a cemetery long ago and then used as decoration. Yeah, I've never seen a human skull before, I don't think. I mean, maybe. I don't think so. So that was weird. Just looking at all these skulls and being like, man, these were all people who had lives and hopes and dreams and stuff, and now they're all, little universes, and now they're just decorations. One indistinguishable from the other. Yeah. So, not a bad way to be preserved. Anyway, tomorrow morning I am going to get a train to Bologna and spend the day there. And then after that, in the evening, I'm going to catch a train to Florence, which I'm very, very excited about. Both of those, actually. But this has been fun. Ciao.